Have you ever noticed that something is happening in the world that doesn't fit the norm? Something so profound that few can see it. But here's the truth. There are clear signs of a global spiritual attack before the rapture, and those who recognize them will experience a spiritual transformation that will completely change the way they live, believe, and prepare for the final days. Today, you will discover what spiritual leaders and experts are warning about, the signs the whole world is ignoring, and how you can position yourself spiritually before it's too late. But be careful. What you will see here is not theory. It is the escalation of a plan that is already in action now. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that values that you considered solid no longer exist. Imagine being surrounded by constant lies, manipulation, and distractions, while the truth is distorted before your eyes. This isn't just a narrative. It's what the Gospels call days of deception. And if you feel this unease now, don't ignore it. This perception is a spiritual calling. Every doubt, every feeling of discomfort is like a divine siren saying, prepare yourself, be attentive, strengthen your faith. If you are watching this video, God sent you here. So if you want to know all the updates about the rapture and end of the world, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. In recent years, we have seen clear signs of this escalation, and they are more visible than many realize, even if they appear to be isolated fragments at first glance. Widespread moral confusion. What was once widely accepted as right and just is now reinterpreted, often to serve hidden interests or invisible agendas. Small changes in language, laws, and social norms begin to create a domino effect, where solid values are gradually distorted. It's not just about individual choices. It's about a reorganization of basic concepts of ethics and truth, which undermines the collective perception of what is correct. Increasing technological manipulation. Today, algorithms don't just suggest products or videos. They shape opinions, influence decisions, and, almost imperceptibly, direct the way we think. Information is carefully filtered, news is selected, and consciousness is influenced by invisible systems that operate silently. Every click, every share, even unintentionally, contributes to this process of control, creating a parallel reality where the perception of truth is subtly altered. Cultural and spiritual division. We are living in a time when brothers and sisters, people who share the same faith and values, begin to drift apart over small disagreements. Seemingly simple arguments turn into profound barriers, and subtle, often imperceptible forces work to weaken spiritual unity. The disconnection is not only emotional, but also strategic, creating spaces where deception and confusion proliferate more easily. And most alarmingly, these signs are not isolated events. Every economic crisis, every natural disaster, every social polarization acts like a domino, preparing the ground for a larger stage that is not yet fully visible. We are observing now the manipulation of information, the distortion of values, and the spiritual division is only the first stage of the attack. Those who are not vigilant, who do not cultivate discernment and awareness, may not realize the gravity of the situation until it is too late. In other words, every seemingly insignificant detail is interconnected. Each event is a silent warning, a preparation for something that will require unusual attention, wisdom, and spiritual strength. And while many ignore subtle signs, attentive observers can already identify patterns, anticipate movements, and strengthen themselves in the face of this invisible but relentless escalation. Ancient prophets and Bible scholars have always warned of days of deception, when many would be seduced by false doctrines and deceiving spirits. Experts in theology and spiritual intelligence state that technology and information manipulation are accelerating events predicted millennia ago. Secret societies and power groups, they not only act on the physical plane, but also influence beliefs, emotions, and decisions on a global scale. Ancient manuscripts reveal that the preparatory attack before the rapture involves both psychological and spiritual aspects, affecting the discernment of those who are not yet prepared. These sources are not legends. They describe patterns that we are observing exactly today, clear signs that coincide with ancient prophecies. But here's the kicker. Not everyone can identify these signs. Many perceive only fragments, isolated episodes, or apparent coincidences, failing to see the pattern that connects it all. It's like looking at a storm in the distance and noticing only a few clouds, without realizing the strength of the approaching wind. Technology that should serve the common good is now used for emotional control. Digital platforms, social networks, and communication apps, which were created to connect people, now function as instruments that shape thoughts, direct emotions, and mold behaviors almost imperceptibly. Every notification, every algorithm, every suggested message acts silently, influencing decisions and conditioning the perception of reality, even without the user noticing. Political and social discourses mix almost invisibly with distorted spiritual messages. Carefully chosen words, ideologies, and narratives are strategically interwoven, confusing spiritual values with human interests and creating a sense of collective disorientation. The manipulation is not just practical, it is subtle, pervasive, and capable of affecting even those who believe they are paying attention. Are you enjoying the video? This message is especially for you who stayed this far. And if you liked it, subscribe to the channel and comment, "God is good." And there is something else, something that few experts reveal, a pattern that connects economic crises, natural disasters, and cultural upheavals to an event that will radically change the world and spiritual order. These are not just isolated events or fortuitous coincidences. It is a carefully woven sequence that sets the stage for a moment of profound separation. This is the stage that precedes the great divide between those who are spiritually prepared and those who have not yet realized the gravity of the situation. Every warning ignored, every detail overlooked, increases the risk of being surprised when the next level of attack manifests. For those who pay attention, however, each event becomes an opportunity to strengthen faith, discernment, and awareness, a silent preparation that can make all the difference when the more visible signs finally reveal themselves. Recognizing these signs is not just an exercise in attention. It is a real strengthening of mind, heart, and faith. Observing, identifying, and interpreting the signs around us builds a solid foundation, capable of keeping us steadfast, even in the face of the most unexpected turbulence. Spiritual studies and research on human behavior show that those who prepare themselves emotionally and spiritually develop greater clarity in the face of chaos. They can see patterns where others see only confusion, discerning priorities and avoiding impulsive decisions that could lead to negative consequences. This clarity acts like a compass, guiding each step even when everything around them seems unstable. They connect with an inner peace that does not depend on external circumstances. Crises, disagreements, or unexpected events don't shake your emotional balance. It's as if, even amid external storms, there's a core of tranquility capable of keeping your mind focused and your heart serene. They experience the confidence of those who know that, even when faced with the unknown, they are not alone. This certainty is not vague or illusory. It is based on observing the signs, constant preparation, and a spiritual connection that protects and guides. The sense of security arises from the knowledge that, despite the complexity of the world, there are invisible principles and forces that support those who remain attentive. Remember, every prophecy observed, every warning heeded, is as a key to spiritual survival. Just as in the scriptures, where the faithful were warned before great calamities, attention to signs today becomes an invisible safety net, capable of preparing not only practical decisions, but also emotional resilience and spiritual clarity. Every detail observed, every connection made, increases the ability to react, adapt, and remain steadfast, ensuring that faith is not shaken when larger events unfold. In other words, being attentive to the signs is to cultivate inner strength, discernment, and confidence, essential tools for navigating periods of uncertainty with security, serenity, and spiritual awareness. But the truth has not yet been fully revealed. What you saw here is just the first fragment of a plan unfolding silently, in plain sight. And there is something that not even the experts closest to the truth can accurately predict: the exact moment when the attack will complete its work, before the rapture. Don't forget to subscribe and like to receive more content like this. In the next videos, we will explore the signs that only become visible to those who are truly attentive, the secret connections between global and spiritual events, and the steps you can take to strengthen and protect your faith. But be careful. If you ignore this information, the opportunity to prepare could quickly disappear. The world is changing before our eyes, and the question remains: will you be ready when the next stage unfolds?